In the last video, we went over Battle of Gods, with the ritual seemingly not working on Kakarot and Turles, which made Vegeta become the Super Saiyan God. But little did they know that the ritual actually worked, and they have God Ki. So what do you think's gonna happen? Find out in this finale of what if Kakarot had a twin. Kakarot and Turles wants to get to Beerus' planet, cause they figured that the ritual actually did work, and they did get its power as Super Saiyan God. But the only way to find out is to go to Beerus' planet, cause they think that's the only way to bring out this power. But they know that they're gonna have to impress Beerus somehow. So they're gonna have to train and see if they can bring out this power on their own. But while they were training, they ran into some Frieza Force members trying to gather the Dragon Balls to resurrect Frieza. But Kakarot and Turles stopped them before they did. So no Resurrection F. Some time passes and Kakarot and Turles can kind of utilize God Ki, using it in their Surging Saiyan forms. It's a start, but they know that there's more to it. We then move on to the Universe 6 tournament, with Universe 7 team being Vegeta, Kakarot, Turles, Gohan, and Raditz. The order of the tournament is going to be different, with the matches being different as well. But it's not going to matter, with Universe 7 watching Universe 6 up until their fight against Hit. And the one up first against Hit is Turles, with Turles showing the power of Surging Saiyan, imbued with God Ki. And this surprises Vegeta and Beerus. How did he get God Ki? He wasn't on Beerus' planet. But then they figure it out. That Super Saiyan God ritual did work on them. It didn't turn him into a Super Saiyan God, but it gave him the God Ki. But that means if Turles has God Ki from the ritual, Kakarot does as well. Turles does eventually lose to Hit, as he was starting to figure out Hit's time skip abilities, but it was until Hit improved the time. So he did end up losing. Up next is Kakarot, and after seeing Turles' last fight with Hit, Kakarot was able to come up with a strategy against Hit's time skip. And even though Kakarot really wants to enjoy this fight, he's gonna have to end this quickly, because he knows that Hit can improve his time skip to the point where not even Kakarot can catch up. And he doesn't want Earth to be swapped to Universe 6. And since he was able to study Hit, he was able to beat him too. He's seen through his time skip. So, Universe 7 wins the tournament. And I know you're probably saying that Kakarot shouldn't have beaten Hit because he didn't have Super Saiyan Blue or Kaioken, but I'm using more of the manga aspect of the fight of Goku versus Hit, because Surging Saiyan mixed with God Ki is around the Super Saiyan God level, and Super Saiyan God Goku was able to contend with Hit in the manga. It was only up until Hit improved his time skip where he did the God to Blue switch, and since Surging Saiyan mixed with God Ki is around the Super Saiyan God level, Kakarot was able to defeat Hit before he was able to improve his time skip. So that's just a little explanation. So Universe 7 gets the Super Dragon Balls and makes the same wish as in canon. When they get back to Earth, Beerus tells Kakarot and Turles that he was impressed from what they displayed, and he wants them to come train on his planet, become his potential rivals. After this, we would usually move into the Goku Black arc, but this also doesn't happen either. And let me explain. The reason there's no Goku Black or Vegeta Black or Turles Black arc is because, for one, Vegeta didn't fight in the arc or use any of his god power, so Zamasu didn't get to see it. And even though Kakarot and Turles did use God Ki in their fight, it didn't have the appearance like they were. So it looked like the Saiyan's base power to Zamasu. So he doesn't do his Zero Mortal plan and keeps his evil thoughts hidden. But don't get me wrong, Zamasu still doesn't like mortals, but it's not as much as he had in the original story. So that means the future is safe and the present goes through a time of peace. And during this time, Kakarot and Turles have been training away on Beerus' planet, effectively using God Ki better than before, and discovering a new god form, unique to them. They keep the color of their hair like they are in Surging Saiyan state, but their hair grows longer with their aura irradiating with God Ki. They have reached their new peak. They unlocked Godly Surge, or Surging God. It's whatever you want to call it. If you come up with a better name, let me know in the comments, because I am not great at naming forms. Vegeta sees this and he can't believe it. He was just ahead of them, finally surpassing them. But they surpassed him like it was nothing. And they found this new power that surpasses his Super Saiyan Blue. And Beerus is completely impressed with these two Saiyans. He can't believe that they got this far just on their own, and got even further. It looks like sometime soon, these two will become his rivals. We then head into the Tournament of Power. The team here is pretty simple. It's Kakarot, Turles, Vegeta, Gohan, Nappa, Raditz, Krillin, Tien, Roshi, and Kami. Kami has been training a lot, and has a lot of techniques. so he should be a valuable asset to the team. But of course, at the end of the day, Universe 7 wins the Tournament of Power. Now, of course, this wasn't an easy win. The most difficult was Toppo and Jiren. Vegeta had an easier time to deal with Toppo, since he is a lot stronger than his original canon counterpart. Even in Toppo's God of Destruction form, Vegeta in Blue Evolution was able to handle him. He didn't even need to utilize Final Explosion. So he knocked Toppo out of the ring. Kakarot and Turles fight Jiren, and they tried attacking him separately, seeing if they can defeat him on their own. But it doesn't work. Even with their new power, Jiren was able to overpower them. So in the end, they decided to work together and double team Jiren, which was working. He was getting overpowered. But once Jiren unleashed his full power, Kakarot and Turles were then on the ropes, and they were about to get knocked out. But that's when Vegeta came in and assisted them. So collectively, all three of them fought Jiren, and actually was able to defeat him, knocking him out of the ring and winning the Tournament of Power. Universe 7 gets the Super Dragon Balls, and the MVP goes to Turles. He was the leader of Universe 7. So, as usual, he wishes for the other universes to be restored, which ends the Tournament of Power. And after this, we skip the Broly movie, as Frieza wasn't brought back either times. And no moral, cause Boo wasn't destroyed, so the seal was never broken, so he doesn't escape. We also skip Granola. Wow, we skipped a lot of arcs, but since Frieza wasn't resurrected and 7-3 was never released, Granola stays working for the Heaters. So we enter Superhero. Since there was no Piccolo, Gamma 2 instead attacks Gohan while he was training, and fends off Gamma 2, but in the midst of their battle, Gohan sees the Red Ribbon logo on his suit, and he heard a story from his father and his uncle that these guys aren't good news. But Gamma 2 says that he's an android superhero, putting the stop to a villain like him. Gohan gets confused. Villain? He's not a villain. He even used to be a superhero like him. And Gamma 2 is confused. Superhero? There was no data of him being a superhero. Gohan then finds his watch and transforms into the Great Saiyaman. Gamma 2 can't believe it. And Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1, who are listening in, can't believe it either. He's the Great Saiyaman. Dr. Hedo remembers him. He used to be an awesome hero. And he can't believe that he attacked them. He must have been telling the truth. He really is a hero. Gohan then explains to them about the Red Ribbon Army, explaining to them how evil they are. And they believe him, since he is another superhero. Magenta then tries to kill Dr. Hedo by shooting him, but Gamma 1 defends him, and takes out Magenta. In fact, he takes down the entire army. They even stopped the production of Cell Max. In which after that, Dr. Hedo and Gamma 1 does meet up with Gamma 2, next to Gohan, and try to turn their cells in. But Gohan sees that they were being misled, and so he lets them off the hook and gives them the chance to be real heroes. Which in conclusion ends the superhero arc. We then cut to Beerus' planet. Kakarot's been training a lot with Whis, trying to learn about Ultra Instinct. Meanwhile, Turles and Vegeta, they've been learning under Beerus, learning about destruction. Turles is a much quicker learner, as he already mastered some destroyer techniques. And Beerus actually considers being a candidate for God of Destruction. And don't get him wrong, cause he's a candidate doesn't mean that he'll give up the title easily. He'll have to earn it. But he sees that his growth is rapidly increasing. So is Kakarot and Vegeta's. In fact, soon, they might overtake him. But that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted people to grow as strong as him, give him a reason to train and push himself farther. That was the main reason why he wanted a rival. He doesn't say this out loud, but he's glad that he met these Saiyans, and asked them for one thing. He wants them to fight him again, at full power. So, Kakarot and Turles turn into surging gods, while Vegeta, he uses Blue Evolution. And Beerus is really impressed. He actually has to try in this fight. He can tell. So Beerus then charges up, having a purple glow around him of destruction. He's ready for the fight, and they all charge at him. Beerus outpaces Vegeta, using somewhat of Ultra Instinct. Vegeta then gets up and charges up a huge ball of destructive energy and launches it at Beerus. Beerus charges up his own ball of destruction, but it's a lot smaller than Vegeta's. He launches it at Vegeta's attack and completely destroys it. Then in a swift attack, Beerus knocks out Vegeta, and even though he got defeated, Beerus is impressed of how long he lasted. He's very curious to see what he's able to do in the future. But now, he faces up against Kakarot and Turles. And they know they won't last long against Beerus if they fight him alone. So, they decide to work together again, just like with Jiren. And they actually push back Beerus. And Beerus is surprised at this. He didn't expect these two to work together. And to push him back like this. But he knows that they're holding back. Even in this form, he knows that they're not at full power. He told them to go at full strength. If they don't do it now, he'll just destroy them and be done with it. So, Kakarot and Turles have no choice. Kakarot then closes his eyes, and his hair reverts back to normal. But then, he gets a weird glow around him. He seems a lot more calmer than usual. Then, when he opens his eyes, it's silver. Goku's using the power of Ultra Instinct. Well, at least Omen. By this time, he's able to utilize Omen with no problems. But he can't get the completed version. But Turles does something completely different. He actually gets surrounded by destructive energy. In fact, it's powering him up even more. Now, you may think that this is Ultra Ego, but it's actually not. It's just Turles using the destructive energy as a boost of power. Try to think of it as kind of like Beerus. He's powering up using his destructive energy. And I actually don't know if that's true in the series, if Beerus can power up using his destructive energy, but we're gonna say that he does. And Turles runs from it, so he tries to do the same thing. And after they're done showing their new power, they both rush against Beerus. With Kakarot's speed and Ultra Instinct, and the mass power and destruction of Turles' power, they become a formidable force against Beerus. Beerus actually has to really go out on this, rising his power even more. And in the middle of Beerus fighting him, he notices that Kakarot's starting to change. His hair, it starts to glow silver. Has he done it? He finally completed Ultra Instinct. And Beerus can't believe that this mortal's the one who gets to do it. Kakarot's gotten so fast to the point where Beerus can't even dodge his attacks. With Beerus trying to put his attention on avoiding Kakarot's attacks, this allowed Turles to get a few hits in. With that destructive power, it allowed the blow to do some real damage. Beerus had finally had enough and decides to use 100% of his power. And in that quick second, he defeats both Turles and Kakarot at the same time. Beerus was real glad about this fight. He didn't expect them to push him as far as they did. They made him use about 70% of his power. But that's only if they were working together. Separately, they wouldn't have gotten close. So separately, they still got a long way to go. But with the way they're growing now, they'll be up there in no time. Beerus might have to start picking up his training again, so they don't get too far ahead. And Kakarot and Turles can't believe how far they have gotten. From being twin Saiyan kids being raised by an old turtle hermit, to now one of them being a candidate for a god of destruction, and the other training under an angel. And in the future, they'll be even beyond that. And they can't wait. This is where we'll leave off our story. What do you guys think of this whole entire scenario? Honestly, for me, this is actually one of my favorite scenarios I actually written. There were so many possibilities I could have written in there, but I didn't, because I wanted to change it up and make it a little bit different than the others. But if you enjoyed this scenario, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It supports me and it supports the channel. Anyways, I'm DBZ Anarchy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.